in episode 2, we'll get you like the sweatband tied around head, shirt off.
Oh, you have no idea how much willpower it has taken me to not do this completely bare-chested.
Buddy, I'll do it with you.
Nah, I'm not subjecting people to that.
I absolutely would.
Yeah, well, you probably have a good body. I don't.
He works out more than the two of us combined, Ash.
Yeah, so amazing body.
Let's not
In
go.
comparison to me, I'm sure you have a great
I
bod.
bet you're beautiful.
Nope.
Okay, that's fair.
I have dad bod and I'm not even a dad.
You still have your hair, so that's something.
That's
No,
true. I have an abundance of hair. So
Danielle very specifically, when it was clear that I was eventually going to have to shave my head, basically her statement to was like, "You can't be a fat bald guy."
that's hilarious.
I was drinking.
You've heard this, Tyler.
No. She's like,
forgot.
I will accept one of these things. I'm not going to accept both of these things. Good on her. Good on her for being honest, at least.
She gave me plenty of warning to deal with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I had both. I wish I had, fit bod and hair, which I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna work on it.
As soon as it's not 100 nonsense degrees.
Yeah, no, I can't. Asking me to exercise in this weather is a war crime.
Yeah,
So please don't. No,
if you just
it's
stand
a war
up,
crime, Randall.
it'll melt. No, if you just stand up, it'll melt off. Like you don't have to do anything. You'll just shrivel into like a raisin ash.
Yeah, no, this is why I don't live in Phoenix. Phoenix is a monument to man's hubris. But yeah, no, everybody.
It really is.
When I tell my friends like, "Oh God, it's so hot in LA," they're like, "Yeah, you're in LA." I'm like, "You don't understand LA. It's in the desert, yes, but it's not Phoenix. It's mild. That's the appeal of it. Is it's mild year round. It doesn't get this hot. It gets a little bit sunny, sure, but it doesn't get like overpoweringly hot. Our average for this month is in the 80s. So this is really unusual for us.
Yeah.
Well,
Some people have made choices.
Yeah. I mean, that's the appeal. That's why so many people live in LA, is because we don't have seasons. It's just nice all year round.
Yeah. I've got two folks on my team that live in LA.
Yeah.
They're very happy with that decision.
It's great. Everybody likes to shit on LA, but people like to shit on what's good.
I don't know. I feel like nobody I know that is affiliated with or that has previously been affiliated, except for one person, has tremendous issues with LA.
That was
me. It's me. I'm that guy.
That was the thing. Was when I was moving to LA from Savannah, all of my coworkers were like, "Why?" I said, "Because I like it." And like, are you insane? Do you need like actual therapy? I'm like, dude, there are worse places in LA. Savannah's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a place where like as long as you can afford to live there, you're probably actually going to have a fantastic time.
Yeah, no, that's the bit we were talking. I was talking with my friends. One of my friends who's lived here their whole life. They were like, "What's the biggest positives, most mid and worst part of LA?" And we all agreed that the worst part of LA is the cost of living. Like, yeah, it's expensive.
It's expensive to live places that people want to live.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, yeah.
But hey, it's better than San Francisco or New York.
I never want to live in SFO. I never want to live in the airport. I never want to live in San Francisco either.
No, me neither. Like, I hate San Francisco.
Well, I've effectively worked there for getting close to a decade now. I've just never had to live there, and it's great. I want to keep doing that.
It's a great place to visit, but spending an extended amount of time in San Francisco, it's not fantastic. Should we get started?
Probably.
I have sworn an unholy pact. In exchange for my room smelling super nice, I gave cantrip candles my immortal soul, and also $17.50 for a sample pack of their tea light size scented candles. Now my dungeon can smell like cool things like Blackhound Tavern, which smells like whiskey and firewood, and not, a dungeon. Visit RPGBOT.net/candles.
Must be nice. B just sprayed some flea stuff on the dogs, and now it smells like ass.
What are you doing?
I don't think cantrip candles has that scent.
Light your cantrip candle. That's exactly what you need in LA today.
Right now.
It's a source.
Thank you, B.
Yeah, that's a real choice. You could either have more fire or the smell. Cantrip candles, everybody. Make choices.
Make good choices.
What? Yeah, I'll do it after the recording. Okay. Yeah. No, keep it open because it's 1,000 degrees in here.
Look, we'll just have the peanut gallery in the background. I'm sure Auphonic will get it.
Sorry. Sorry, B was asking me if I wanted to spray for fleas because apparently the dogs have fleas. So
Oh, jeez.
it's been great over here at Casa de Ash.
Dude, okay.
Sorry, dude.
You should try making a deal with the devil, because it feels like this isn't going well.
Nope.
Welcome to the RPGBOT.Podcast. I'm Randall James, and with me is Tyler Kamstra.
Hi, everybody.
And Ashley Lai.
I'd like him to make a deal to get off this plane of existence. That would be fantastic.
I mean, what if the cost was fleas?
Then no.
Okay.
I said I'd be willing to make a deal. I didn't say I would be willing to make a deal for any price.
Okay. So we're gonna spend some time negotiating. Perfect. Tyler, what is happening?
All right, so tonight we're going to talk about pacts, effectively. Supernatural gifts, bargains, boons, exchanges, trades of dubious nature. Other things, both as a story device and as a mechanic. These have appeared in D&D for a very long time, a lot in other RPGs, and there's a lot to look at here. So I think we're going to have fun.
So
now, Ash, this one was your idea. So lead us in. What were you thinking?
So the question comes up: what is it about Pacts that is appealing to us as players and DMs? I think a lot of the times I've seen some videos on this on YouTube, especially recently, about how do I get my players to sign a devil pact? Because it can be cool to. It's like that monkey's paw situation. And the answer is everybody has their price. You just got to make it worth your players' while and tempt them with some scrumptious power, delicious.
Yeah,
and then maybe they'll consider it. Like everybody has their price, so maybe their price is you get to summon a Tarask once per day. Now, are you listening?
Okay. Anywhere or
anywhere.
Ooh.
But it means you die in 3 days and your soul becomes mine for eternity.
Oh, well, no.
Wait, so I'm gonna Tarask 3 times? Sign me up. Are you kidding?
It. Oh, well.
What were you gonna do with your immortal soul?
Yeah, what were you gonna
do?
Hey, you go out in style, you get to summon a Tarask 3 times. How many times do you get to summon a Tarask even once in a D&D game? I would sacrifice my character just for the story.
But would your character sacrifice themselves? I guess it depends on your character.
Fair enough.
I did not give them high intelligence, so
or wisdom.
Or wisdom.
Sounds like a plan.
It's because here's the deal: if your goal was to be remembered, and just 3 days you die and your soul goes away, nobody's going to remember that fading into nothing. What they will remember is that time you summoned a Tarask at the city gates and tore it down.
Yeah, that's true. Not a whole lot of documentation on people's immortal souls, at least not acceptable or not accessible to whoever you leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about Wayback Machine. We're going to step into 3X days. We're also going to talk through 5th edition Pathfinder. And more generally, we're just going to talk through the concept. But with that, let's go and get in the Wayback Machine. Let's go and talk about older editions of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. All right. So I'm almost entirely certain that Randall and Ash, neither of you heard of this mechanic. So I'm really excited to talk about it. In 3.5, there was a book called Dragon Magic, and I have very, very distinct memories of sitting in a chair in my friendly local game store, cracking this book open before I bought it, and thinking, this is some of the coolest things I've ever seen in Dungeons & Dragons, and that statement still holds true to this day. So, Dragon Magic, go pick it up on DM Skill. One of the things in the Dragon Magic supplement was this thing called Dragon Pacts. Now, to the best of my knowledge, this was the only explicit trade a thing for a thing in 3.5. So Dragon Pacts are this really, really neat thing that, as far as I know, nobody ever actually used. It's a really cool concept, probably never actually saw play because it was very, very exclusive to sorcerers. Notably, sorcerers in 3rd edition got their power from draconic ancestry. Only draconic ancestry, none of the like fun, diverse sorcerers we have in 5e. So if you were a sorcerer, you could make a dragon pact by doing some vaguely defined ritual. Here, I'm just going to read the text instead of explaining it badly. A dragon pact is a mystical bargain made between a sorcerer and a powerful dragon. In exchange for gold and a small portion of the sorcerer's magical power, a spell slot, the dragon grants the sorcerer access to one or more spell-like abilities. Dragons do not enter these pacts lightly, for the bargain also costs them a bit of personal life force in the form of lost hit points. So that's the basic premise of the pact, is a sorcerer trades a spell slot to a dragon. The dragon gives up some of their hit point maximum, and in exchange, the sorcerer gets some spell-like abilities. Now, spell-like abilities are essentially innate spellcasting in 5e, so you cast it without a spell slot a few times per day. It's very specific spells, and depending on the type of pact you make, you would get different spells for a different theme, and some of them were really good. And you could give up one spell slot and get to cast 5 spells as spell-like abilities. So it could be a very, very efficient way to become very, very powerful, but you were also locked into those spells. So there's some min-maxing to be done. There's some trading. And also the DM can choose to make this really, really funny. So unless the sorcerer is in the presence of the dragon he is contacting during the ceremony, he has no power to dictate precisely which dragon or even which kind of dragon answers his entreaty. So you make this deal, unless you literally walk up to a dragon and say, hey, I want to make a pact. I'm going to spend an hour making a ritual. And then the dragon says yeah, cool, I'll hang out. You can do this ritual and any dragon in the local area gets a ping on their phone is oh yeah, pact. Yes.
Do you know what dragon you're making a pact with, or are you just going in blind?
You go in blind.
Cool. Okay.
Well, that's definitely rolling the dice there.
Yeah. Yes, I love that mechanic. Yeah, you have to make an Arcana check to do the ritual, and you can get different modifiers, and you get +10 to the modifier if the dragon is willing to sit through the entire ritual. So there is an incentive to actually go seek out a dragon. But if you just really want that power and you don't care where it comes from, the DM is free to just make up a dragon whole cloth who makes the pact with you and then becomes a thorn in your side forever. It's great. I love it.
Sounds
Nice.
fun. It sounds vaguely like Warlock patrons.
In a lot of ways it is, yeah. It's very much the same thing as a Warlock pact. You give up something precious and you get incredible power from a dubious source. Part of the appeal here was this mechanic specifically made powerful dragons a permanent NPC in the campaign that the players basically couldn't get rid of.
So what kind of interactions would a player then expect their character to have with this dragon after? Can the dragon, in the middle of battle, be hey, I need you to pick up the phone? What's going on? I'm literally going to put thoughts in your head? Or would the dragon have to hunt them down? Can the dragon take the power back at any point? If, hey, I thought you were going to do more for me. I sent you to get eggs. What are you doing?
It's like you get a text, hit you up.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's fun. Like you said, that semi-permanent NPC as a powerful dragon in the game is a lot of fun. So what were the limits of how much that dragon could impact the path of the party?
Surprisingly little, unfortunately. The dragon didn't gain any direct power over you. It kind of. So you make this pact, you give up the spell slot, that is a fixed cost, and the level of spell slot you spend determines how much power you get.
Okay.
You also have to bargain with the dragon, just with gold. You have to give them some amount of gold, and haggling is part of the ritual, apparently.
Good.
And the dragon gets to keep that gold. If the dragon ever wants out of the pact, they have to completely destroy that amount of gold that you gave them. So if you pay them 1,000 gold as part of the pact, if the dragon wants out of the pact, they have to destroy 1,000 gold worth of stuff and declare the pact null and void. So they are left with essentially nothing to show for it. You as the player, it's considerably easier to get out. You basically just I decide I don't want it. You don't get the spell slot back for a year, if I remember right. So there is a cost, but you can just declare the pact over if you're done. So the dragon doesn't have a great way other than holding your power hostage, because it's 1,000 gold. That's nothing when you're a dragon with hundreds of thousands of gold to your name. You just be yeah, all that power you depend on, gone. Also, you can upgrade the pact. you can only have one dragon pact, any given character. You can upgrade the pact when you gain levels and get higher level spell slots. So you could go back to your dragon and say, hey, I would really like to make this pact more powerful so I can get better spell-like abilities. And the dragon can say like, hey, I sent you out for eggs. Where are my eggs?
New phone, who dis?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So there's a small degree of reward for staying friendly with your dragon patron, but they didn't have a direct way to just force you to do things unless the DM imposed one somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
It's not everything you would want out of a pact mechanic, but it is kind of cool.
I do want more, and I'm glad that the story gets better as we go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like, why would a dragon ever make that pact then? They don't get a lot out of it. Sir.
I must have missed something that they can do with the spell slot. Like there is a paragraph or two in the description explaining like, hey, this is intended to give you a way to bring dragons into your game as a major NPC that the players are forced to deal with. And also it gives dragons an excuse to build a network of mortal, like not servants. I don't think that's the word they use. Like a network of mortal allies, minions, etc.
Medieval LinkedIn. Absolutely.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
And
Your
then
up-and-coming adventures. Let's, I don't know.
I think this was introduced in Monster Manual 4, but there's this vaguely defined game that dragons play, which is essentially like planet-wide chess. And to play in the game, you have to have a network of minions, hirelings, pawns, people doing stuff on your behalf to act against other dragons. And the game exists essentially to prevent all-out violent war between dragons. So they do this instead of just killing each other. And like, this could be a great way to tie the players into that. Like, great, you want this pact? Congratulations, you're now part of the great game. Every once in a while, I'm going to need you to do some stuff.
This sounds like it would be a really good system for a Dragonlance game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, finding a dragon in Dragonlance. Ironically, hard.
Yeah,
Good
that's
point.
fair. That is fair. I mean, good dragons anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bumbling old fools, super easy to find.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's all D&D. So that's Dragon Packs. Were there any other sort of pack bargain things in 3.5, or is that pretty much it?
There may have been. 3.5 was a very big edition with a lot of books, and a lot of them were really bad. Weirdly, Warlocks did not have a pact mechanic. Like, they had invocations, they had Eldritch Blast. Supposedly, they got their powers from some vaguely defined source, but there wasn't actually like a patron thing, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone in the Wayback Machine, so now we're in the present day. So none of us want to play 3.5.
Speak for yourself.
Maybe some people do. I certainly don't. But so are there mechanics in this for 5e? Well, surprisingly, for an Ash suggested episode, this isn't a topic that 5e is lacking in that Pathfinder 2 fixes. I would actually say 5e has a bit more robust stuff than Pathfinder 2. They're about equal, I would say, actually.
So the problem I had, Ash, and like you're about to answer this question, but I just want to speak to folks. Where do I find it?
In various places. So the big major, that's most D&D. Sorry, guys. So the thing most people are probably going to think of when they're talking about bargains in 5e is Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, which introduced the concept of dark gifts, which is a very cool system. They can be part of your backstory if your GM allows it, or they can be a story thing that's offered to you through the course of play in a Ravenloft game. So like they give suggestions of maybe you died and some sort of eldritch creature offers you a dark bargain in exchange for bringing you back to life, which can be a way for players to continue playing. Let's see. The other examples they give, a Dark Lord will negotiate with a party only if a character seals the deal by accepting a dark gift. An experiment or magical accident goes wrong. A character breaks a vow or suffers a curse. Lots of different things that you can do with dark gifts. So there's currently 8 different dark gifts. And considering I'm running a Ravenloft game, I have quite a bit of experience with some of these. But I just want to give like an elevator pitch for all of the 8. So the first one we have is Echoing Soul. basically it's your soul's weird. It's
just
funky.
weird.
Yeah, it's funky. Like some of the examples they give is like your
Smells off.
soul is linked to that of a person elsewhere, perhaps another domain, world, or plane. So if something happens to one of you, it happens to both of you. Or you've lived many times before and your soul keeps reincarnating after you die, kind of like that Samsaran we were talking about at Tian Sha. Or my consciousness was removed from my original body and implanted into this one. So it's a weird sort of thing. And each dark gift gives you a detriment and a special ability. So, for example, Echoing Soul gives you proficiency in 2 skills of your choice. You get an additional language. Great.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But the big thing you get is something called Intrusive Echoes. And this mechanic is kind of shared throughout all of the dark gifts, essentially what triggers it, which is whenever you make an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, and roll a 1 on a d20, something happens. So in this case, your soul's memories emerge and overtake your perceptions and experiences. You might see people around you as someone other than who they are, or you become disoriented by double experience of the world around you. Then you roll on the Intrusive Echoes table to determine what effect these vivid memories or perceptions have. So, for example, you could be charmed by a creature of the DM's choice, or you could be frightened by a creature of the DM's choice. Stuff like that. Not all of them are as bad as that. Some of them get some really cool effects. But the next one is Gathered Whispers, which is basically you have a bunch of creepy voices in your head. Now, I have a player who took this in Ravenloft. Their name is Strigus, and they are essentially this assassin that's been reborn multiple times and have lost their memories, and they're haunted by the voices of all of the people they've killed throughout the thousands of years that their soul has been alive.
And yet they keep doing it?
They don't really have a choice.
I mean, what's one more, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't know who they are. They don't know who these people are who they've killed. That's what they're trying to figure out.
Okay.
But something that is very cool is it gives them the message cantrip. There's also some random effects that can happen whenever they roll up 1. They also have sudden cacophony, which is if you're hit by an attack roll, you can use a reaction to channel your spirits, letting their voices howl through you. If the attacker is deafened, add your proficiency bonus to your AC against that attack, potentially causing it to miss.
Nice.
So, yeah, very cool stuff. Then we have Mistwalker, so in order to get to different domains of dread, all of the domains of dread are bordered by this mist, and walking through it can have bad consequences, or you just get turned around. Mistwalkers are the only ones who can go to different domains by walking through the mist. Normally, you need a mist talisman to do that, like a magical artifact from the domain you're trying to get to. But Mistwalkers can just do it. Obviously, they can't leave if the Dark Lord has shut down the exits to their domain, but still very fun. I have a character in this in my campaign who hasn't really used this ability yet. Her name is Lucian. She's a Gloomstalker Ranger.
Makes sense.
Then we have Second Skin, which is basically Jekyll and Hyde.
Well, actually, real quick, before we keep going, like one of the things that you put in the notes for the Mistwalker is that like the counter to that is if they stay in one place for too long, they begin to die. Like how does that mechanically take impact? Is that kind of DM fiat?
Yeah, so the way it works, they actually have specific verbiage for this. Where is it? Oh, did I skip one? I did. I skipped. Okay, we'll go back in a second. So it's called Poisoned Root. So when you finish a long rest, the world around you in a 10-mile radius becomes a siphon that will eventually leech away your vitality. You can remain in the area safely for a number of weeks equal to your Constitution modifier. Thereafter, each time you finish a long rest, you must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or gain 1 level of exhaustion that can't be removed while you're in the area. So you have to constantly be on the move. Mistwalker is not one I would recommend if you're planning on staying in one domain of dread. Like, it's not good for Curse of Strahd. But if you're doing like a plane hopping domain of where people are visiting multiple domains of dread, like I am, this is a great feature. So the one I skipped was Living Shadow. This one's really cool. Essentially, your shadow is sentient. It can do things outside of your control. Sometimes it describes it sometimes as like embodying your innermost secret desires and wants and stuff like that. The character of mine that has this in my campaign is named Sid Graves. He's a paladin of the Raven Queen and has used this to some effect. Like basically he can affect things with his shadow when he controls it. And if he rolls a 1, sometimes the shadow will help people and sometimes it will hinder it. It just kind of depends on what the shadow is feeling.
Got it.
So it's like a real Peter Pan feel to it, right?
Yeah, it is kind of like a Peter Pan feel. Exactly.
More of a jerk. little darker.
Then we have Second Skin, which is a Jekyll or a Hyde situation, or basically a werewolf, where you have alter self that you can cast on yourself. But the trick is that you involuntarily go into this if a certain trigger happens. So, like, for example, the full moon, you turn into a werewolf, or you smell a certain type of flower, or the sound of ringing temple bells. Oh, hey, Danny, I didn't know you were Danny from Game of Thrones. She heard the bells. Oh. She went crazy.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
I just thought that was anyway. So yeah, that's Second Skin. Then we have symbiotic entity.
That's actually that's the best explanation that I've heard for what happened at the end of of Game of Thrones, the series. That's canon now.
Yeah,
that's obviously
she had the Second Skin dark gift. She just flipped a switch when she heard bells and went on and said, "I'm going to perform a genocide."
Yeah, more compelling writing than the series itself. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
No, you're fine. Then we have my favorite, which is symbiotic entity, which is essentially you have something living inside you, a second consciousness that shares your body and soul. It has its own
tapeworm?
No, it doesn't. It has to be imagine like a ghost that's possessing you, but is a separate consciousness from you. I mean, you can have a sentient tapeworm if you want, but that sounds awful. I don't know why you would want that. But essentially, it can't leave your body. If you die, it dies.
Hey, please.
If you die, it dies. So it has a vested interest in you surviving, so it gives you the ability to succeed on saving throws. And a really good thing about this is if it's a death saving throw, you can spend one of your hit dice to just immediately come back up from unconscious at 1 hit point.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice. Yeah. I am imagining like role playing this. My symbiotic entity, high wisdom, high intelligence. I am a uncharismatic moron.
Well,
and so it trying to keep me alive.
It's like, God damn it, this stupid idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But the trade-off is the symbiotic entity has its own agenda, and if you don't follow that agenda, it will try to take control of you.
Got it.
So the player that took this, love this character in my Ravenloft game. Her name is Oleander, and she's a sorcerer, and she's been overtaken by hags, the spirit of a hag, who used to be her mentor, sort of thing. She also has described it how she has it looks like one of those growths that was like a twin that died in the womb on her shoulder that has a mouth that talks to her. And yeah, the hag has her own agenda and is constantly speaking. And at one point, someone took a Bloodwell vial that the hag wanted for Oleander, and Oleander wasn't sticking up for herself and saying that she wanted it enough. So the witch was like, "You got to take that Bloodwell vial from him, or I'm going to take it for you." And Oleander was like, "Why don't we just give it a rest? I'll talk to him about it later." And she's like, "Okay, this is happening now." So she took control of her and attacked her friends until they gave her the Bloodwell vial. And that was the first time I don't sidebar, so they heard me talking to her. They're like, "What's going on with this voice inside her head? That's weird." But at that point, they're like, "Okay, what the hell was that?"
Team meeting. Everybody get around the campfire.
Yeah. Are you okay? And Oleander's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I can turn it off anytime I want." Oleander's great. If you're listening, Laura, I love you. So, Touch of Death is you kill people with your skin.
Yeah.
Can you be more specific?
Now you get it.
Basically, it means that touching people harms them. That in both a good way and a bad way. So you can touch someone.
Is there a good way to harm people?
Huh?
Is there a good way to harm people?
Well, no. What I mean is
what
I mean is you can touch them aggressively and deal damage to them, but if you'd try to do another touch spell, like a buff spell or a cure wounds, you also could hurt them. So
got it. Okay.
It's basically Rogue's power from X-Men. Think of that.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Touching people hurt them.
Have you ever seen Pushing Daisies?
Yes, I have. I love Pushing Daisies.
It was fantastic.
Bring people back to life, but if you touch them again, they die. Yeah. That's a good way to see it. Then we have Watchers, which are you're followed by magical spirits or entities that have some sort of plan for you. So they give you some options, like you're constantly followed by tiny little birds and stuff like that. Or you're followed by animate tools of punishment. Yeah, they describe drifting eyeballs, religious iconography, or you're followed by crabs, eels, and jellyfish, or I'm sure Tyler's favorite, verminous vermin, which is scorpions, serpents, and spiders.
Burnermers vermin.
It gives you
that would be terrible.
Basically, it gives you the ability to, for an hour, if you invoke their eyes, to give yourself advantage on investigation and perception checks, and you can't be blinded for an hour. But the trade-off is that nobody likes talking to you. So
can you blame them?
Essentially, you have disadvantage on all charisma checks, but you can temporarily ask the things that are following you to disperse, but you have to make an animal handling check, and it only lasts an hour. So it's a weird one. It's a fun one. I have another player who also, I worked with them to make their own dread gift, which is, he's a Dhampir that has urges of vampirism. So whenever he rolls a 1, he has to feed on the person closest to him.
Got it.
Super fun. It's come up more often than you think, and everybody just seems to be okay with it.
Okay, so Ash, I want to ask you the same question that I asked Tyler a bit ago. I made my bargain. I have my dark gift, and maybe my dark gift came more as a curse, so I don't know the individual that gave it to me. But ultimately, if there's an entity that gave me this dark gift, what is the interaction with that entity going forward in the game? That's
completely up to you as the GM and the player. So I like dark gifts because I think they're a good way for story stuff, like especially gives the DM a lot to work with in terms of backstory, because not everybody's all that creative with their backstories, and it doesn't give the DM a lot to work with. Dark gifts are inherently interesting, and they inherently beg to be investigated. How did your shadow become sentient? Why are there a bunch of spiders, scorpions, and snakes following you everywhere?
It's and, not or?
Nope, It's and.
It's so much worse.
It is. Just spiders riding scorpions, riding snakes, little saddles. Yeah.
But are the scorpions rad?
They're very rad. We need to make that t-shirt still.
But
the art.
It adds to that flavor of personal horror that I think Ravenloft really does well as mystery. Like, these all are inherently prompts for a mystery. Why is this thing exists? Why does this happen? I think it gives you a lot to work with as a DM, especially if you're wanting to mine your players' backstories for drama, which is what bargains should do.
Yeah. So I want to hit pause a little bit here, and actually let's talk through that for a moment. So a novice DM could make the mistake of making one of their players, and truly their player character, the central character, right? It'd be very easy to take this and make somebody a main character. What are some things that you...
It's a mistake I've come across in my years of play several times. But to answer your question, like, if one player has a dark gift and nobody else does, that's challenging. I usually go for an all or nothing thing, which is, if you're going to do dark gifts, everybody has them or nobody has them. But if they come through through the course of the story, that's a different matter. But if we're talking about character creation and the point of it is solving the mystery of the dark gift, then that's definitely something that all players should be on board, should probably engage with. I do make the stipulation for anybody who's joining my Ravenloft game: you don't have to take a dark gift, but you're gonna feel a little bit left out if you don't, because all of the other players have these cool things going on and you don't. That's not to mean I'm going to ignore your backstory. It just means, there's some cool stuff that your backstory has an actual constant effect in the game, which other players won't normally have. A mechanical effect. So it's a balancing act, but the advice I have for DMs is, like with anything, you got to make sure that you're paying attention to everybody. And even if only one player has dark gift, just don't fall into the trap of making them the center of attention.
Yeah, I will say what you're saying makes perfect sense, like having everybody have a dark gift or some bargain they've made. The other thing you could have is a more worldly patron. I let somebody down and I know that they're going to be coming after me, or I crossed the wrong person and I'm going to have to make things right before I'm able to go on. I want to bring in a mechanic from Fantasy Flight Star Wars, and Tyler, you can explain this better than I can. Essentially, because everybody owes somebody something, at the beginning of every session, the DM is rolling a die to basically figure out, whose past issues are going to cause us problems today. And the longer it's been since you've resolved your issues, the more likely it is that it's going to come up that you're going to have to deal with the person you owe money to. And in Fantasy Flight Star Wars, it's right. It's you owe somebody money, you owe somebody some goods, you have to solve, you owe somebody some information, and you have to solve this problem. I can imagine borrowing something like that here, where you could be round robining session by session the issue that's coming up with the dark bargain. And if somebody chose not to, then maybe it's a more worldly patron or more worldly issue that they're going to have to deal with that session.
Yeah, and I'll be upfront. I'm not the best at this all the time. Like, I can feel myself falling into the trap of really wanting to focus on Oleander as a character because her whole situation is, I just love it so much and I really want to focus on it, but I have to pull back from that a bit. So, we all, as DMs, we gravitate towards certain characters more than others because we're just like, this backstory is so cool and I have so many cool ideas with it. But then you come to the one character who didn't really give you all that much and you're just like, I don't know what to do with your character. It's not fair. And every parent will say, I don't have a favorite child, but they're freaking lying. Every parent has a favorite child. It's just a thing. But it doesn't mean you love the other child any less. It just means that you, even unconsciously, will give more to that child. And it's the same with DMs. It's unavoidable. So just accept that it's going to happen, recognize it when it does happen, and try to pull back. But this is a way off topic from what we're going to, and we have a lot more to get through.
Well, that's why I wake up every morning and I roll a die, and that's the child that I favor that day. Perfectly fair. Okay, cool.
So that was just dark bargains. That's not even all that we have in 5e.
Dark gifts, dark bargains.
Dark gifts, dark bargains. The other thing that not a lot of people know about, I don't see people using this a lot, but it's in the DMG. Shocker, most of the stuff that people forget exists is in the DMG. So there's a section under other rewards near where Epic Boons was that we were talking about recently.
Yeah, nobody's ever seen that section either. Keep going.
Yeah.
It's called Supernatural Gifts. And it gives you options, and one of the sections is blessings. So if you've ever had your players do something that you think their god would really like, or players pray at a shrine or do something good for a deity that you want to show, this is something you could do. It could be temporary, it could be permanent. These are pretty powerful, though. So I would caution you about using these.
Believe it. It's actually indexed.
It is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there are looks like 1, 2, 3, 7 blessings, and they're not specific to any god. It's just like this feels like this god, and you can give it. So there's Blessing of Health, which increases your Constitution by 2 to a maximum of 22. Blessing of Protection, which gives you a permanent +1 to AC and saving throws.
Okay.
Pretty good. Blessing of Magic Resistance, which is like the epic boon of magic resistance. Advantage on magical effects. Blessing of Understanding, wisdom score increases by 2 up to a maximum of 22. This one's real weird. Blessing of Valhalla. This blessing grants you the power to summon spirit warriors as if you had blown a silver horn of Valhalla. Once you use this blessing, you can't use it again until 7 days have passed. So it's like, we have these like little modifier bonuses and then like, Valhalla!
Yeah.
Witness me! Witness me! And then we have weapon enhancement, blessing of weapon enhancement. One weapon in your non-magical weapon in your position becomes a +1 weapon whenever you wield it. That seems really underwhelming to me.
That's the other one.
That's really bad.
That's real bad.
Well, but don't forget,
that's like your god appreciates you, but it's just like, I don't really think you did enough there, dude.
Yeah,
you're playing in a game where magic items don't exist, and maybe this is exciting all of a sudden. It's not.
Yeah. They probably should take another pass at this. Very undercooked. Blessing of Wound Closure, which gives you the effects of Ariapt of Wound Closure. So that makes weapon enhancement look even more stupid.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, that's just some things. If you think the blessings are too powerful but you still like the idea of gods like bestowing some like little blessing from their shrines and stuff for praying at it, the other thing they give you is charms. And they actually did expand on this in Icewind Dale. They added more charms, which are described as temporary little boons that are like they're kind of like talismans from Pathfinder 2. They're like a one and done type of deal. They give you a cool benefit and then they're gone. But some of them can be used multiple times, but none of them are permanent. So like one allows you to conjure animals, one gives you dark vision for a little while, or feather falling. Yeah.
I think we ended up getting a few of these in our Icewind Dale game, and like they seemed really cool and exciting. We got them because we got them from little nature spirit guys.
Yeah. Twingo, I think they're called.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Twingo?
I don't think we ever used them once. Like, we wrote them down, but D&D Beyond didn't have a way to track them, so we kept forgetting that we had them.
Yeah. And then what happened was we died.
Yeah.
Chewinga. Thank you, Quasit. That's the name of it. Yeah.
Quasit in the chat for the save. Thank you.
Yeah, they added some Chewinga charms. Yeah, it runs into the hoarding issue where it's just like, this will be useful later, and I just need to remember it. But there are passive ones like Feather Falling. It just gives you the benefits of a Ring of Feather Falling for 10 days.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are just some cool things. They describe some ways you could get them. Like you find an old shrine that you restore, or in a wizard's book, like an ancient wizard's book that just imparts some ancient knowledge to you. That's a cool way to sort of give, to sort of embody that.
My problem, if I gave my players like a charm that they find in a wizard's book in a library, from then on, anytime I mention that there's a bookshelf, it's like, can we spend 3 hours looking through them? There's nothing in them. There's nothing in them. Please stop.
You got to make these rare enough that it makes sense. Like maybe it's after going through an entire dungeon for this extra dimensional dungeon that this ancient wizard had, they find that book on the pedestal and it gives them that charm. Then they probably won't ask. Yeah, and they probably won't ask about it every time they run into a library.
Are any of the books on the shelves glowing? No. Can we leave now?
Hey, the thing is, you give your players anything, they will run with it.
Yeah.
The last thing we have in terms of deals and bargains is, of course, warlocks. And that might sound like a cop-out, but nobody really pays attention to warlocks or the nature of their packs or their patron. Like, when was the last time you guys ever had like a long conversation with your patron or had to do something for your patron?
Better question. When was the last time I had a warlock on my table? The answer, never.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I have warlocks literally in all of my 5e games. What games are you playing?
I don't know. We just never end up with a warlock.
You don't have Hexblades?
No.
Nope.
Wild.
I know.
Yeah, Tyler's played a sorcerer, a barbarian, and I've lost my mind.
Jeez, yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
I have warlocks in all of my 5e games.
I've had people show up to one-shots as warlocks, but in the one-shot, we're not really exploring backstory. We're not taking time to meet patrons.
But yeah, I mean, it's a thing that like a lot of people have complained about. Like DMs don't really know what to do with patrons. I wish 5e would give them more ammunition to do with patrons, kind of like the Dark Bargains. That could be a really cool way to make Warlock more interesting and want people to level it more. Like maybe the higher you go into the class, you get more benefits, but you also get some detriments and stuff like that, which could be a cool risk-reward kind of thing that people would like seeing.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get some side quests out of this, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this does go back to, I think, probably a lot of DMs are afraid to lean too hard into it because other folks are going to feel like, oh, like, you know, I guess I didn't pick a cool enough class or I didn't build a cool enough backstory. I think that's where you have to balance. Like, we can absolutely dive in and have some fun with this character being a warlock. There are other things that the other characters are bringing that we can do similar deep dives with.
Yeah, I think also the reason why DMs don't want to play into it too much is they're scared of like, if the player doesn't, most of the patrons that you make pacts with are evil. And so they're going to want you to do evil stuff. And if you don't, then you are going to have to take power away from your player. And nobody really likes that. To that, I would say play Baldur's Gate 3 and play through Will's story. It is a perfect example of how you can have a good person make a deal with an evil entity and it still work and be compelling. So I don't buy that as an excuse. DMs, we can do better.
The 2024 rules did add a thing at level 10. Warlocks can cast Contact Other Planes specifically so that they can, call their patron.
But no warlocks are ever going to get to 10. That's the problem. but yeah, no, I just think warlock patrons are cool. And I'm looking at myself when I say this. I wish DMs would use them. So that's 5e. Got a lot of good stuff for packs and stuff like that. So let's move to Pathfinder 2. What does Pathfinder 2 have? Pathfinder 2 has some weird stuff. I will say that. So there's actually a magical item in Pathfinder 2 called contracts. They're their own subtype of item. I think they were introduced in Treasure Vault. I'm not sure on that. But there are currently three-ish, maybe 4 types of contracts. The 2 main ones are Infernal contracts and Supernatural contracts. So Infernal contracts tend to be, obviously, contracts you make with devils. And the thing about Infernal contracts is they all have a hidden clause. They give you a benefit. They have a hidden clause and they have a termination clause.
Interesting.
Let me pull this up real quick. Now, the thing about contracts is they all require investment. So investment in Pathfinder 2 is basically a 2-min and 5e. So it takes up one of your 10 slots and you can't remove it. So it's essentially a magic item. Now, my problem with the contracts is that some of them are pretty underwhelming for the stuff that you get for the detriments that you get. So, for instance, the lowest level contract you can take is an item level 3 Devil's Luck contract that you can make with an imp. So
Okay.
the benefit, yeah, it's kind of pathetic. So once per day, you can roll a saving throw twice and use the higher result. Okay.
That's actually really good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
It is pretty good.
Hmm.
The payment is at the termination of your mortal life, you must serve this imp for 100 years. Do you still think it's really good?
I'll be dead. Whatever. The DM's not going to make me play that character anymore.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So remember that hidden clause I was talking about?
Yeah.
So there is a hidden clause. And so the way this works is when you're making the deal, that you can ask the DM to make a check to find out any shenanigans. If you based on
But it's a secret roll.
Yeah, whatever contract you're making has suggested decipher writing checks. For this one, it's Arcana, Occultism, or Society. If you roll a success, you get the hidden clause. If you roll a critical success, you also get the termination clause. If you roll a critical failure, you get the wrong hidden clause.
Oh, interesting.
That's fun.
So,
but it's secret, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
I love that.
So the hidden clause for this particular one is the termination of mortal life clause is carefully worded to hasten your demise. You can't use the benefit against death effects. And if you roll a failure on a saving throw against a death effect, you get a critical failure instead.
Oh, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you, when they failed and you gave them the critical failure, would you tell them or would you just wait until they're dead? Because they need to know their wounded condition is higher.
No. I would. I mean, this is up to the GM, but I personally would tell them. I wouldn't tell them why, but I would just tell them that. And
that's actually
like,
a crit failure. Keep going. Okay, nice. I like that.
But this is pretty clever. I like this. The termination clause is if you critically fail a saving throw against a death effect and do not die, the contract becomes unenforceable on its own terms and is voided.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That is a really interesting item. Man, that whole mechanic, that is fantastic.
I know,
okay,
right?
Say that again, but more slowly.
Okay. If you critically fail on a saving throw against a death effect and do not die, the contract becomes unenforceable on its own terms and is voided.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
So is that the escape clause?
That's the escape clause. Basically, if you want out, that's how you do it.
You survive a death effect. Okay.
A critically failed death effect.
Yeah.
That's on the low end. I'll give you the highest level Infernal contracts you can pick. There's not many of these. The Infernal contracts that they have right now there's only 4 of them.
Okay.
Asterisk. We'll get to that asterisk in a second. But I hope that they add more of these because I think they're a really cool mechanic. So Icy Disposition, which is your flesh looks no different, but is cold to the touch. So the benefit is you gain cold resistance equal to your level and a +1 status bonus to saving throws against mental effects. Pretty good.
Yeah.
The payment is liquids in your possession, including potions and liquid alchemical items, freeze over the course of 1 minute and thaw 1 minute after they leave your possession. Frozen potions and elixirs take 1 minute to consume.
Oh, jeez.
So you just have to have your friends hand you potions during that.
Just quick drink them. Could you imagine having to take healing potions in the form of a popsicle?
Oh God, that sounds awful. Well,
8 popsicles.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, right? You know, you could take it the same way you take in Baldur's Gate 3 and just somebody stabs you with it, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So the devil you make this deal with is called a Gelagon, which is like an ice bug.
Oh, ice devils. Yeah. All right.
So the decipher writing check they have is nature or games lore, which is wild.
Like GAMES, games?
GAMES, yes, like games lore.
Huh.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah. So the hidden clause is no more than once per week. the Gelugon can move you like a piece on a game board to advance its schemes. The Gelugon can appear and transport you and any items you're wearing or holding from your current space to a clear space within 500 feet. The Gelugon need not see this location, but must know the relative location distance from you. This effect doesn't transport any other creatures. The Gelugon is unlikely to place you in a less dangerous space than the one you left.
Yeah.
Wait, you said it must place you in a less dangerous place than the one you left?
The Gelugon is unlikely to place you in a less dangerous space.
That makes a lot more sense. And then you said move like a pawn. So my expectation is like you're literally dragging me like out of the tavern, through the street, up the stairs, into the bell tower, and then, I'm ringing the bell or something like that.
Essentially he has a chessboard laid out and you are literally a piece on the chessboard that he is moving.
Okay. It's like, this isn't the brothel I fell asleep in. What's happening?
So, are you ready for the termination clause? Because it's wild.
Yeah.
Wait. Can we guess? I want to guess.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You beat it in a game of chance.
Nope.
Okay.
The contract provides you the benefits of the eternal ice of Cocytus. If you travel to Cocytus, Hell's seventh layer, and stand within an area of at least 100 feet across that contains no ice and has a temperature above freezing, the contract is void. Such locations are exceptionally rare in Cocytus, and the efforts to create such an area are likely to attract unpleasant attention.
You literally have to thaw hell. Hell has to freeze over, and then you have to thaw it.
You go to the place where it's already frozen over, and you try to create a nice beach day.
Yep. So that's infernal contracts. That's just the first type.
That's
very fun. Yeah. Then we have supernatural contracts, which is an umbrella term that includes basically everything else. So that could be a spirit. They are usually some sort of fey creature. Unlike infernal contracts, they give you an active ability that you can use, but they also have some bigger drawbacks. So let me get here. Oh, these are actually called bargain contracts. My mistake. They're basically supernatural contracts. What's a fun one? Let's see. Yeah, we'll do the Vial of Immortal Wellspring.
That sounds cool.
This is a level 21. At a wellspring, you gave your blood to a force of nature and received a vial of the wellspring's heart in return. Once per 10 minutes, when your die-in value would increase above 3, you instead become unconscious and are no longer dying. This doesn't prevent you from being killed by death effects or the doomed condition. Once per day, from any distance, the entity that holds your bargain contract can possess you and control your actions, leaving you unaware of what goes on. The possession automatically succeeds regardless of any countermeasures you might take. Normally, this lasts for only one round if during an encounter, or no longer than a few minutes during exploration. However, the more you rely on the power of the Wellspring's heart to survive death, the longer it can possess you the next time it chooses to do so, doubling the amount of time with each use to a maximum of 1 day. Once the entity possesses you, this duration resets. You also get an activation action, a 2-action activity, frequency once per day. The effect is you drink from the vial of water that seals your bargain contract, and you gain the effects of a 9th level 2-action heal spell.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, dang, that's a lot of healing.
Oh, there's another really good one. Key to the Stomach. I like this one.
Key to the Stomach?
I'm not going to like it.
Okay.
Whether due to the inconvenience of having a physical body or desperation of impending starvation, you are drawn to a person offering relief from hunger. You swallowed a key, which remains in your stomach that continuously satiates you. You no longer need to eat or drink. Once per day from any distance, the entity that holds your bargain contract can have the key sealing your bargain contract absorb all items in your stomach, which prevents you from benefiting from items that require you to eat or drink them, such as potions or elixirs, for 10 minutes.
God.
During this time, the entity gains the benefits of these items instead. You also get a 2-action activity. The effect is you absorb any poisons with the key sealing your bargain contract. You gain the benefits of casting neutralized poison.
Interesting.
See, that's what I was wondering. Is like, I want to do party tricks with this. I'm going to drink a poison and be like, look, nothing bad happened, but it's actually built in. That's even better.
Yeah. There's another one that's similar called Bottomless Purse, which gives you like, it doesn't actually give you a bunch of money, but essentially like the bargain patron can take everything they want out of anything they want out of your bag for themselves. It's so funny.
It's like having a kid.
Okay, the key to the stomach one, I could see that being a fun mechanic in a boss fight. Like, you're fighting a boss and they have a minion somewhere who has this key thing going, and their job is just to drink potions for the boss. So the boss is just continually getting healed and buffed, and like alchemical items are kicking in, and just mutagens.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
So those are the two major types of contracts. Very fun, very different from each other. Then we have two sort of special contract subsections on archives. The first is Thrune contracts, because apparently the mistress, Abigail Thrune II, who is the queen of Cheliax, gets her own type of contract.
Oh,
it's an infernal contract. Well, it's more like a supernatural contract because it doesn't have the hidden clause or anything like that. But I mean, she's a devil essentially, so it's kind of like an infernal contract. My favorite, and I love the weird implications of this, is Unending Youth, which is a level 21. You cease aging, and if you're older than a young adult in age, you become a young adult again. You gain a +4 status bonus to saves against death effects and resistance to negative damage equal to half your level. Once per day, from any distance, Abigail Thrune II can recite a mandatory appearance clause in your Thrune contract as a 3-action activity to summon you to her side, where you are controlled by Abigail for 1 minute before you return.
interesting.
What is she doing with that 1 minute?
I mean, I think of a couple of things.
You also get a 2-action activity. You recite a hold harmless provision from your Thrune contract. Reduce your doomed value to 0. Abigail Thrune II is immediately made aware that you have used this ability.
Interesting.
Imagine, like, if you did something mundane for her once and she loved it. Like, you made her what was, in her mind, her favorite tuna fish sandwich ever that she's ever had. And so once a day, you get summoned for a minute. Make her a Sammy.
She's going to get so much mercury poisoning from eating all those tuna sandwiches.
Don't make deals with Abigail Thrune. You're basically making deals with Emperor Palpatine at that point.
But does she give you unlimited power?
Yes, she does.
Well,
she's very
there you go.
Some would call it
the
that.
last type of contract that we have is just other contracts, of which there is only one. And it is called Oath of the Devoted, and is specifically from the Mwangi Expanse. And it's basically you're dedicating your life to the mummy boy king, Walkena.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a boy who came back as a mummy and has like a dystopian society in his city state. Very cool character, very interesting. But essentially, he gives you some power. It's not bad. Like it's pretty decent. Let me see. Hold on a second. Yeah, you gain mental resistance 5. And gain fire and mental resistance 5. But the trade-off is if you die, you come back as an undead zombie under his control.
Oh, well.
Again, at that point, I'm not using my body.
Yeah.
You also can do, as an action, gain +1 status bonus to a will save. Choose a weapon or unarmed strike. Your chosen attack deals an extra 1d6 fire damage for the next 1 minute. Oh, also, if at any point, at any time, you exist with this contract when all foreigners have been expunged from Mizali, the city where Walkena lives, you are immediately destroyed.
Oh. That's
so
not
if there's no tourists in his city, you die.
That is not a great termination clause.
I need a wizard with me to just send people there occasionally.
Yeah.
Like, I get people drunk in the tavern. I'm like, just put them in.
Hey, but you get some pretty dang good benefits from like being able to add +1 to your will save. You get resistance to fire, mental damage, and you get to add extra damage to your attack. It's pretty good. But I don't know if it's worth it if like the DM just decides one day, hey, you just die for no reason. So that's contracts. The only other thing we have here in terms of bargains and deals or supernatural stuff is divine intercession, which is also a really cool mechanic, I will say. So remember we talked about God blessings in 5e?
Yeah.
Kind of weird and underwhelming. This is kind of like that. But every god...
Weird and underwhelming? Keep going.
No. This is better, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but similar concept.
Similar concept, better execution. So every god has their own divine intercession. And these, basically, they can be either blessings or curses. And they have 3 levels of severity or strength. They start at minor and go up to major. So I'm going to take Sarenrae as an example. Sarenrae is one of the most popular deities in Pathfinder 2. She's like the goddess of redemption and the sun, all that stuff. So her minor boon is your healing hands are blessed with a warm flame. Once when you heal another creature, instead of healing it for the normal amount, you heal the creature to full hit points, no matter how much damage it has taken. Sarenrae typically grants this boon in extremely consequential circumstances.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way boons work, they aren't necessarily permanent. They can be, but but they can also just be like a story device that DMs can use for like consequential moments, like I said here. My favorite of hers is the major boon, which is you are a voice of peace and rehabilitation. When you roll a success at a check to request something, you get a critical success instead. In addition, all creatures other than fiends, undead, and mindless creatures allow you one chance to speak your piece and make requests before entering combat. If you or the ally ever use the time from the request to gain an advantage in an ensuing combat, for example, by casting preparatory spells, positioning for combat, or weighing out your opponent's preparatory spells, Saren Ray immediately revokes this boon or possibly curses you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so they saw min-maxers coming and they thought, nah.
Yeah, no, it's strictly meant to be as a way for you to try to find common ground with your enemy before you engage them in battle.
Do they
Which
have
I
to be
think is
intelligent?
very cool. I don't think so, but it implies that yes, because because you're making a request, and I believe you make a request requires that a person understand you if you're doing that.
Because if it's a direwolf, right? Like I can try to give it like who's a good boy.
I mean, if you have beast speech, sure, yeah.
So that's fair. Well, okay, is that a preparatory spell? Like I'm not trying to gain a mechanical advantage in combat.
I think that Saren Ray would be okay with that.
Okay, good. You're not a jerk, and I like that about you.
I actually considered giving this to one of my players who remember the character who hugged the villain to death. Yes. I was like, this feels like such an apropos boon to give you. But then we have the curses. Minor curses. The sun burns you for your transgression. You receive a sunburn that causes you to become permanently clumsy one. Rough.
Oh, that sucks. Jeez.
Then we have major curse. You don't want to get major cursed from Saren Ray. Saren Ray restricts your ability to harm others. All attacks you make, spells you cast, and other sources of damage you deal are non-lethal except against fiends and undead. And you can't ever make them lethal. You deal minimum damage except against fiends and undead. All creatures except fiends and undead get a +4 status bonus to their AC and saving throws against your attacks and other effects.
That's awful. How do I get rid of that? I would like that off me. I'd like to pretend I never heard that.
Normal ways that you get rid of curses. Although it is a deity curse, so it's gonna be hard. Don't piss off Saren Ray. I'll stop.
I like Delta's comment in the chat. Become a great surgeon. Can't possibly kill them.
Yeah, that major curse is essentially your character's done. I hope you had fun with that. Yeah. But that's basically it for Pathfinder 2 in terms of like gifts, boons, bargains, that kind of stuff.
That is a lot, though. Like, there's a ton of options there, and they all sound really interesting.
Yeah.
And part of what I like about that is like the formula of the hidden clause, the termination clause. It's enough that if you as a GM wanted to come up with something custom for your setting or custom for one of your players, I feel like you could easily come up with it. And you have so many good examples of kind of the tier and the fun of it that it wouldn't be difficult to come up with something interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Quaza makes a good point. You could also, and I've played with this, you could also, like, if a cleric of a certain deity does something that's anathema to their deity, I feel like it makes sense for the deity to give them a curse until they atone for their sin. So it's a cool story way of dealing with stuff. I love the contract system, like Randall was saying. I love the Infernal contract, hidden clause, termination clause. I think that stuff is really cool. I wish there was more of it. Like I said, there's not that much, but it's a cool mechanic, and I think, yeah, if you want to lay into that, I would take some of these bargains because some of them are really rad.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we have a question of the week this week. This week, our question of the week comes to us from @IamJPRoy. What is your biggest DM crutch? Fallback monsters, adventure hooks, settings, yada yada. I can answer this question right now. The main group that I run the game for, it's the group that we always talk about. That's it. I know how to make them laugh.
Yeah, you do.
And so I will throw an NPC in, or I will set up a setting and I will turn it into something that like they're laughing and they're having a great time. But that doesn't always necessarily lead to like really comparing play, really compelling role play. It doesn't necessarily like lead to like, okay, well now we're transitioning into combat and all of a sudden the combat's going to go super seriously because we were just joking, having a good time, threatening to stab these people. So I think the players enjoy it, but I certainly recognize that like when we get to the serious parts of campaigns, I really have to work to kind of cut out the joking around and let the moment set in, like let them have the serious moments too, to get the full enjoyment of role play.
This is a tough one. I have several, but I think my biggest one is probably combat. is a crutch for me. Like if I don't have really any ideas for a session, or like I'm stumped on like where I want to take a thing or how I want a dungeon to go, I'm just like, what's a cool monster? And then I'll just put that. Obviously, yeah, there could be worse crutches than that because, people like combat. But I think oftentimes I will just put a monster in that doesn't make sense. So like an example, back when I was really, really uneducated about the lore of D&D, I was trying to figure out how I was going to make this travel down this river less tedious for my players. And I saw this cool creature. I was like, ooh, an aboleth. And I put
in a river.
I just put a random aboleth in a river, and it was basically like they were fighting like a whale. Like it didn't do any weird cool things. It didn't talk to. I didn't realize how cool aboleth lore is. I was just like, neat. It has this enslave feature. That seems cool. I didn't even know it could talk.
Yeah. From that aboleth's perspective, it just had a random encounter on the side of the river. Like, oh, look, these people. Let's enslave them.
They weren't even underground. They were in a river in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. It's a bad place for an aboleth.
Like I said, not a great crutch to have.
Yeah, I saw this really cool dinosaur called a Tarrasque. I figured you'd like to fight it.
Well, that's the thing. Like I always find challenge appropriate stuff. Although sometimes I will overtune things. Like recently, I had these players fight a encounter that I had originally tuned for 5 people, but I had forgotten that one player had left. And then I had an NPC companion to replace them with and just forgot to bring them into the combat. And so it was almost a TPK because that's how it goes in Pathfinder 2. A battle that you have tuned for 5 players becomes suddenly impossible with 4 players.
Yeah. All right. So my biggest DM crutch is just the 5-room dungeon.
Yeah.
They're very, very easy to put together quickly. There's not a ton of fancy layout you have to do. You can assemble components mostly from like random bits and pieces and a puzzle that you Googled. So like if you've got 30 minutes before your next session, just Google 5-room dungeon, pull up John Forrest's website, download the PDF with like 400 pages of 5-room dungeon ideas. Pick one, build out the encounters real quick so you have stats for monsters, and then just put some treasure at the end. Like it'll get you through a session or 2. It won't disrupt your plot. It's neatly self-contained. The players will have a good time and they get treasure at the end.
Yeah, 5-room dungeons have saved my butt on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
Related to that, I will say maps from Champeku have also been my crutch because, like, if I don't have an idea for a dungeon or encounter, I'll just be like, what cool maps are there on Champeku? Oh, this looks cool. I'll use this. But the problem is when I don't have any solid maps that I think make sense, I'm like, oh no, what do? I don't have any maps. I have to go to another map maker? No, that's not happening. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Randall, what's the one that you always use?
2-minute tabletop, and I love them. I was going to bring it up specifically because yes.
That one's good too. I think I used them for a while until I switched to Champeku because the thing I like about them, this turned into an advertisement for Champeku. The thing I like about them is that they have so many different variations on a map that I can find exactly what I'm looking for because I tend to run non-standard biomes for my game, and I'm tired of most maps are just like European grassland and forest and maybe some mountain. I run stuff that's in the jungle and the desert, and nobody makes maps for that. So yeah, I do appreciate it when that they have all of those different variations.
Yeah, 2-minute tabletop does the same thing. I love the art style, and like one example I used in a session I was running for our group, 2 different versions of the map where one of them was the dungeon and one of them was the dungeon, but the lighting was dim and everything was covered with blood.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah. And then another one was, it was an outdoor environment, but you literally had 4 seasons. And so I actually got to use it in a couple different situations, which was really nice.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, one of the maps I used that was really successful was they had, Champeku had this like hollowed out world tree situation that I had my players run up. And they also had 3 different map variations that had mist at different height levels coming into the trunk. And basically I turned that into an encounter where there was basically they had to run up the stairs while fighting these creatures, and this mist was slowly rising, and it was a type of mist that would damage them if they were touched by it. So it was a very fun encounter. And yeah, Quaz had also mentioned I had them have a fight in a cocktail bar in Ribcage. So that was fun.
Okay, against psychic laser mushrooms? Is that what he's saying?
No, that was the tree trunk. That was the tree trunk.
Okay.
Okay.
My postmortem of Planescape's going to be wild, y'all. It's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun
excited.
time. They're currently in Eastgard. They're having a great time.
Good. Nice. All hail the Leisure Illuminati.
Hail.
Hey.
Hail. I'm Randall James. You'll find me at amateurjack.com and on Twitter and Instagram at jackamateur.
I'm Tyler Campshaw. You'll find me on RPGBOT.net making dark bargains for your time reading the website. You find me on socials, RPGBOT, NET, or RPGBot, depending on where you are. It's confusing. It's fine.
I'm right here, Tyler. I'm right here.
And I'm Ash Eli. You can find me if you want to make a deal with me to run a game for you. You can shoot me a message over on Twitter at Graven Ashes or hire me at startplaying.games. I recently just posted a new public Pathfinder 2 game. We are going to be doing Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. If you wanted to see what it would be like to be in Hogwarts, but in an Africa analog, come join us. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will only cost you a fixed price plus your soul.
Yeah, I do take souls on layaway.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and rate us on Spotify or your favorite podcast app. It's a quick, free way to support the podcast and helps us to reach new listeners. You'll find a link in the show notes. You'll find affiliate links for source books and other materials linked in the show notes, as well as on RPGBOT.net. Following these links helps us to make this show happen every week. If your question should be the question of the week next week, please email podcast@RPGBOT.net or message us on Twitter at RPGBOT.net. Please also consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can find all kinds of great rewards. At any tier, you'll get early access to RPGBOT content and polls for future content. At our $3 tiers, you'll enjoy your choice of ad-free access to RPGBOT.net or ad-free podcast episodes and access to live stream podcast recordings. At our $5 tiers and above, you'll get all of that, plus access to the RPGBOT.Discord. You'll find us at patreon.com/RPGBOT. You want a cool shirt? Maybe a cool sticker? Visit the RPGBOT.store.
Just make a dark bargain for a sticker.
I mean, I feel like we've all been there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure TeePublic just takes cash, so
yeah,
minimally dark bargain.
Honestly, okay, no kidding. That's the crypto somebody needs to create, just like Soul Coin. I'm sure that exists already.
Little temperature update for y'all. It is currently almost 8 o'clock. You want to guess what the temperature's like?
101.
103.
92.
92 is great.
Okay. I mean, that's
compared to the earlier numbers. Yeah.
It still sucks.
Still sucks. At 8 o'clock, 92.
I'm so sorry, man.
Okay.
It is what.
You know what'll make you happy, Ash? My upload percentage is higher than your temperature. For folks at home, I got better internet.
Yay! So happy. Let's hope it doesn't take you an hour to upload.
Yeah.
No, it's going to finish instantly.
Because it says 99%. Good. That's good.
But just so we know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Randall's video still looks like a soup made of pixels.
Yeah.